Have you ever stopped to think why some people seem to drain your energy effortlessly? As you seek spiritual growth, you may encounter demons in the form of people who insist on discrediting your path. Oh, but what would be the unexpected advice of a Christian master like C.S. Lewis? Yes, the answer might be quite counterintuitive, but it makes perfect sense. Sometimes, the secret is to stop explaining yourself. Finding solidarity amid the spiritual battle is within reach, a daily awakening where you become the protagonist of your divine purpose, discovering authentic joy in morning prayer and trust in God's silent guidance. Let's explore how you can transform this vision into practical reality, overcoming, with simplicity and grace, all those who seek to undermine your spiritual journey. Silence, as mentioned in Jose's wise words in Matthew 7-6, is a powerful lesson in the Christian journey. Jesus' wisdom reminds us not to offer sacred things to those who do not value them. The act of silencing is not simply abstaining from words, but a state of profound self-knowledge and respect for our spirituality. Sometimes the best thing to do is to reserve oneself in morning prayer, preparing for the daily spiritual awakening. The clear example of this is how Jesus preferred silence over unnecessarily dealing with opponents who did not understand the depth of his message. Imagine having a conversation with a friend who barely values what you offer. It surely becomes tiresome and unproductive. Similarly, silence is a way to preserve our spiritual strength, clarifying that true spiritual battle is not fought in empty confrontations, but in daily prayer and constant growth in Christian life. Those who seek to hear God's voice understand that Jesus Christ's teachings are self-explanatory to those who have ears to hear and eyes to see. These teachings encourage overcoming temptation through the practice of daily devotion. On the spiritual journey, silence can be both a fortress and a strategy. In our prayers, such as daily prayer or midnight prayer, practicing silence can be a unique form of communion with the divine. Often, it is in the absence of external sounds that God's voice becomes clearer. C.S. Lewis once reflected that true moments of spiritual awakening occur when we are at peace, aligned with God's infinite love. Indeed, what is the transformative power of seemingly simple acts like night prayer? Thus, we begin to open a loop for deeper battles, which are not against flesh and blood. In the pages of the Bible, we learn that our true spiritual battles are not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces of darkness. It is no surprise that C.S. Lewis says that these battles often unfold in ways the naked eye cannot see. Instead of wasting energy explaining our faith to people who can be compared to demons in the form of people, it is more effective to preserve our strength for those who truly understand and share our vision of spiritual growth. This journey, marked by prayers such as night prayer, helps in facing the invisible assaults that try to deviate us from Christian life. Consider how Jesus dealt with the spiritual forces of darkness. He never stopped to explain himself to those determined to avoid him, but chose his words and actions with keen discernment. Nowadays, this is an essential lesson: meditation on the Word and the practice of our prayers, like the prayer to start the day, are our greatest allies. Focusing on those who truly care creates a protective shield against negative energies. Among the battles we face, some are man-made phantoms, while others challenge the depth of our faith and devotion to Jesus Christ. There is beauty in the simplicity of knowing where to invest our energies. Imagine being on a beach during a storm. Not every wind deserves your attention. Instead, focus on the battles that matter, guided by daily devotion and listening to God's voice in day-to-day choices. Finding balance between battle and quietude reveals why midnight prayer holds its special place. It blends protection and reverence to God. In this scenario of spiritual warfare, it is not words that defeat invisible enemies, but the faith lived and shared. And we return to Jesus' teachings, where protecting our energy is more than vital. It is essential. Jesus, in his infinite wisdom, often dealt with evil forces without giving them explanations. This teaching translates into the importance of wisely choosing which spiritual battles are worth our time and energy. Just as when we pray silently seeking God during morning prayer, protecting our energy is actually a matter of spiritual survival. Just as a gardener carefully chooses their tools, we should carefully select the battles we engage in, focusing on sustainable spiritual growth. Think of life as a bank of energy, where every action we take should bring balance, not drain. Protecting this energy means being alert, even in front of people possessed by internal conflicts that seek only to subtract our peace of mind. A good, practical example would be cultivating moments of silence, as suggested by C.S. Lewis in A Daily Spiritual Awakening. These moments allow us not only to hear God's still voice, but also to reflect on the true motivations of our acts and decisions. The practice of night prayer can restore the necessary forces to peacefully revive the truth in the heart. The ability to protect energy requires the same strategy as a careful warrior, calm in preparation of defense and precision at the moment of attack. This reflects simple practices, such as setting aside time for daily prayer and deepening in a daily devotion that nurtures and strengthens the spirit. Jesus taught us that there is a proper time for everything, a balance between speaking and silencing. And by opening a new page in our spiritual arsenal, we trust that silence is the essence of faith. Thus, only aligned can we venture into the extraordinary trust in God. Silence often represents a profound act of trust in God. In moments of daily prayer, this silence is not just an absence of words, but a declaration of our faith in His love and guidance. True trust is woven in the surrender of our own will, allowing Him to lead our most difficult spiritual battles. Those who choose the silence inspired by Jesus Christ find a peace that transcends human understanding. A peace where the act of praying in the morning transforms into a guiding vital energy. Imagine how liberating it can be to renounce the constant need to justify yourself to the world. Trusting in God means understanding that we don't always need to offer explanations. Just as a soldier trusts his commander, we too, through midnight prayer, these intimate moments with God, find relief and guidance. C.S. Lewis reminds us that divine provision never fails, and it is in this assured flow of hope that we discover where the waters of faith meet our practical, silent but powerful devotion, letting God lead. Practice, therefore, the serene art of letting God fight your battles. Consider, for example, moments of difficulty where a quick prayer can completely transform your perspective. Instead of impulsively launching into responding to every criticism or adversity, take time to meditate and seek intuitive guidance in night prayer. Open yourself up so that God may strengthen your spirit, protecting your pearls like sacred peace and vocation. In this silence filled with serenity, we will better discern the next direction, where silence is not just protection, but a sharp tool of truth. Silence is not just a shield, but an essential tool for keeping our discernment sharp. When we allow ourselves moments of calm, we open the space to listen to the truth more intently. Just like an intuitive sailor using the lighthouse to navigate. In the dark, in moments of prayer, we better capture God's will and identify what truly deserves our energy in Christian life. Morning prayer helps establish this daily connection, a silent agreement between who we are and who we should be. Under the light of Jesus. Using silence as an aid to spiritual discernment is a concept C.S. Lewis could support. He encourages us to filter through the dissonant voices of the world and truly tune into God's invitation. During our daily devotions, Jesus illustrates the value of discerning authentic voices from false ones, allowing us to trust in the reality that truly matters. Few rhythms in life are as rewarding as being led by sincere prayers and remembering that some of the best decisions are immersed in spiritual calm, both in the clamor of the day and in the serenity of night prayer. Sharp discernment silences doubts, filtering thoughts that may harm our path to the supernatural. Exercising this means recognizing that sometimes the best response is not to react. A practical example to apply this would be setting aside weekly time for a prayer retreat or participating in a spiritual reading group, focusing on literature that promotes internal growth, like the works of C.S. Lewis on Christianity. In these bits of quietude, upon hearing the divine voice, we prepare for actions that wonderfully align with our greater mission. Continuing in this dynamic flow, you will see how stopping to explain oneself is not only powerful but liberating. Now that you've delved deeply into the mysteries of silence and sharp spiritual discernment, I ask you, how long will you continue explaining yourself to those who aren't willing to understand? Imagine the power contained in delicate adjustments in your life, becoming stronger in your faith and wiser in the choice of your battles. Is it time to fully trust in divine guidance and exorcise distractions luxating as companions? I invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to continue this transformative learning on how to stop wasting energy on aspects that don't uplift your spiritual life. Open this invitation to reflection, change, and true spiritual growth.